Hi, everyone. This is Tom Camboris again with MyBalanceFormula, and we are here today with Anja Bump. Anja, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Great. And you have volunteered to participate in this very short, sort of quick hitter, 3 questions about life balance, and particularly your own life balance.
Yeah, important topic.
Important topic it is. Yes. So before we get to the 3 questions, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's on your mind these days? What's important to you?
Yeah, well, of course, everyone's health with the pandemic still being rather strong. So I worry about that, of course, and what that will mean for everyone's economic future. Other than that, I'm the founder and CEO of Twofold. Twofold is a startup we recently launched, and we are like the Uber of furniture. So we are there when you need us, and we disappear when you don't. And we make modular furniture that is intended to be flexible, both for office use and for working from home.
Okay. I love we're the Uber of furniture.
Yeah.
It's a good visual, right? We're there when
Yeah.
you need us, and then you fold it away and you have that space for
a table is like a car. We use it 2 or 3 times a day, and the rest of the time it just takes up space. So it's a very similar concept to Uber.
And in this period of time, space is even more important than it's ever been in people's consideration with their living accommodation. Great. Okay. 3 questions. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So the first one is, when we talk about life balance, there are certain, let's say, ingredients to our life balance. And I'd like you to think about that and think about what is the main ingredient for you to keep your well-being, your happiness on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one thing that you could attribute to that, what might that be?
So I want to start by saying that I feel it's going to be different for people depending on their life circumstances. So for example, if I was living alone, right, it would be different than being a parent, for example. And in my case, I do have a 12-year-old son that I love very much, and a husband. And so that factors in, right? So for example, if I lived alone, I could run and manage my work-life balance very differently than if there are other people, like in my case, that I also have to think about. So from a life balance perspective, for me, it's very important that while I'm constantly thinking about work, as you can imagine right now, it's important for me to mindfully spend time with my son and my husband, so that when I do take time away from work to spend with them, that it's meaningful. And that's hard, especially right now, where you want to make sure you save your business and you keep growing customers. And it's hard right now, right? Especially if you're selling a furniture product. And so I have to really work right now at not looking at the phone, at letting the phone call just go to voicemail. Don't look at the text messages and just be in the moment. And I work on that every day. It's hard. I know what I should be doing from a mindfulness perspective. And right now I have to sometimes just accept that I can't be as good at that as I would like to be.
Yeah, it's one that resonates with me, and I'm sure with just about everyone. It is so hard to just completely shut down the work side of things, and be available and open and present with your family and your friends. It just creeps in, and pretty soon, not only does it creep in, sometimes it just overwhelms that other space, and you are on your phone and you're not listening, and it's really, really difficult. So you have a mechanism, you turn your phone off, or you just put it aside, and it almost requires that kind of rigid, ring fencing of a space that you need to be present, right?
Correct.
So thank you for offering. Any other views?
Well, the
on
one
that?
thing I wanted to say, what really helps me is being outside. I'm a very active person in terms of physically my body likes to move. So I do make sure that I go running. And I try to do basically running meditation, so I'm very picky about what I do while I'm running. For example, that's not something where I want to socialize with my family, because then I have to talk, and I like to be in my head when I'm running. So I will do a lot of things to make sure that I have time for that. And that helps a lot, because it is a stressful time right now, and I don't want to be cross with my family if I can avoid it. And so the running helps a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned two things, sort of making sure that you're available for your loved ones, and also finding some time for yourself, and you do it through running, and you tie in some mindfulness into your running. These are things that are really important to you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If we move to the second question,
Yeah.
and that's more, now we look at these ingredients again, and those were two main ingredients that you put into the pot, right? To formulate your formula for life balance.
Yeah.
There's other ingredients on the table, and to some extent they go in the pot, and some are bigger and some are smaller, but there's something that's not even on the table, right?
Yeah.
It's in the cupboard back there.
Yes.
And you might not even remember that it's back there, but it's a good one, right?
Yeah.
So if I get it and I put it in the pot, it enhances my formula.
Yeah.
And so if you think of that ingredient, what is the one that I need to grab and actually add to my daily routine or my regular routine right now?
That's an easy one. For me, I used to go to yoga 2 or 3 times a week, and it was incredible. It was a really good vehicle for relaxation. It was very healthy for my body, and I haven't been doing that in probably a year and a half, really, since things got extremely busy with Twofold, and I miss it. I miss it every day, and it makes me feel bad that I'm not making the time for it. So that would be my answer, is if I could get my yoga practice back, because it really helps with stress reduction, that would be good. I really should be doing it.
Yoga is up there for me as well. But can I share a little hack that I have done for myself?
Yes, please.
So I guess maybe for months now, my routine has been, my wife and I, we do a walking workout. It's up a hill, and we do it several times just to get some cardio. But I do have a couple other little physical things that I do. One is about a little bit less, let's say 12-minute HIIT program with about 20 exercises.
Yeah.
Yoga as well. Well, what I was doing is the exercise with my wife, the walking stuff, in the morning, first thing in the morning. And then I would get working, and I would do the yoga and the HIIT program at the end of the day. But that was, again, with leakage, right, of work stuff and one extra email, and I just need to do this, and I just need to do that. That was getting either later and later, and sometimes we were having dinner like at silly times, like 10 o'clock at night. Or I was just missing it. So what I've done recently is I've now put that at the beginning of the day as well. So we do our walking workout. I've done my yoga and my 12 and 7, 12 exercises. And so that's done now. Yeah. And that's the only way to, like, for me, I have to put things at the start of the day. Otherwise they slide off. They slide off the list for somehow. So it's my own little weirdness, but it works for me.
You know what, I will think about that, because I think you're right, because at the end of the day, you always want to finish whatever it is that you had put on your own plate, right? Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Even if I start with a 10 or 15-minute practice, right? I don't have to go an hour right away. So, yeah.
The other thing that it just reminds me from what you just said is you do want to get to your work, right? Yes. So if you do the yoga, you're not messing about. Right. You know, I want to get to that other stuff that is very important on a financial part of my life. So, but I've put this here, but I'm not going to drag it out for an hour and a half. I'm going to do it and then get it done and then get to the important stuff. So that's what's been happening for me.
Love that. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. The third question is, if we just take a little bit of a further perspective on life balance, and consider that this has been a journey that we have been on our entire lives, and we've been taking little bits of wisdom from other parts of our lives, from other people, experiences, failures, successes. If there was something just sort of in general, a nugget of wisdom that you could offer up to our audience, what might that be when we think about life balance?
I think one of the most important ones is that we need to forgive ourselves if we fall short of whatever it is that we think we should be doing. For me, specifically being a mom, it's easy to it's easy to feel like I'm falling short on that side, especially right now where I'm working very hard on the business. And so I feel like if we add additional stress on ourselves because we feel like we're coming short, then it doesn't help things. So sometimes it's better to just say, okay, today wasn't that great, and think about, okay, what can I do tomorrow to make that better? I think that works better than just feeling bad on top of all the other stressors that people have in their lives. And I don't mean to say that abandonment of the family or anything like that should be okay, right? It's just giving ourselves a break. I mean, right now it's a pretty hard time for most people in this world, and we should all have a little extra patience with ourselves.
Yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah, just be a little bit kinder to yourself.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more understanding that I'm going to have some bad days. I
Yeah.
always, I'll go through this cycle of, wherever it is in the cycle, it will
Yeah.
change, right? Whether it's been
Not
bad,
over.
really bad,
Mm-hmm.
the worst, it's always come out of that.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is when it's been fantastic and I feel great and it's a perfectly beautiful, magical moment. Well, I come out of that as well,
Yeah.
right? And it's so just
Exactly.
considering that is
Yeah.
really, really important to know that
Yeah.
none of this is permanent, that
No.
it's all changing, and tomorrow will probably be different than today. And
Yeah.
to some degree, it may be better or maybe worse, and that's okay. And that's part of the journey. So really good one and important one to offer up as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like, you can always look at a situation, and to use the age-old verbiage, the glass is half full versus half empty, right? It doesn't really change the situation, but it changes your outlook and it changes how you feel about it. So why not try to go for the glass is half full? Because nothing has changed except you feel better about it and you're more optimistic about, that other half. So
Great.
yeah.
Thanks, Anja.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
And
me.
no, you're welcome. Yeah. And lots of luck with Twofold Spaces.
Thank you.
I personally think it's positioned quite nicely for what we have in front of us. So there's, some nice modular protected spaces that are really interesting. So those of you that are in that mindset, have a look at Twofold Spaces. There's some really neat products that are launching.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And for those of you that also have had any benefit from watching this, please follow, maybe give us a thumbs up or a comment or a share. All of that stuff would be great to keep these going. I will continue to be committed to finding really interesting people like Anja to come and share how they're managing their life balance. And we will continue this as we go. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about your own life balance or your teams or your organizations, hit us up at MyBalanceFormula. We also have some support that looks at this in a very particular and interesting way. Thanks again, Anja. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
And we will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.